Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here. Having all kinds of problems today. Not my fault. I don't know if it's the internet, company, people that are watching. I don't know if you know Tina, the one I do my UFO special on Tuesdays with. So we got Men in Black watching our show. Seriously. So there's a lot going on. I can't even get what was supposed to happen. They cut my show off at 2 o'clock. I had to redo everything now. I'm so sorry for that. Let me open up the chat room. Sorry, as well. Alright. Just getting this all set up here. Sorry about everything going on here. Alright. Now, I got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to try to get through it as fast as I can. I hope you're willing to stick around. If you read the title, it's about truth. That's one thing I always like to talk about. The only thing I like to talk about. Because it's the only thing that matters. My name is Rev.Hawksblood. I'm calling from the big island of Hawaii. And there's a lot of stuff going on this island right now. I don't know how much you want to know about it or not. I'll get into that maybe later. My main topic is speakers. Not the kind you plug your stereo into. Alright. I have considered myself a UFO investigator. I'm a writer. I'm actually a reverend as well. But I say I'm a teacher of truth. A teacher of truth. Not a storyteller. Not a promoter of other people's stuff. Alright. I'm just hoping that my chat room's working. Let me just try it. Alright, hopefully it's working. So, now, where do we start with all this? It's going to be a little bit hard. Because, if you're not ready for it, I'm not going to give it to you. And by that, I mean, if you're not ready for it, don't stay here. Leave. If you think you know the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, there's no reason for you to listen to mine. I can only tell you mine is as true as I know it. I spent 69 years getting to the point where I am right now. And I talk about my experiences, what I learned, what I went through, who I dealt with, what I dealt with. Not what other people said, wrote, or speak about. So it's going to get hardcore. I'm not a loving light person anymore. Those days are gone. We destroyed the planet pretty much already. And we're working really hard to finish it off. Alright. Man destroys everything they touch. The water, the air, the ground. I mean, the animals are dying in large numbers. What else? People are going to be dying in large numbers, and they already are. So where are we headed? You better think about it. And it is quite important to you to get your act together. Alright, when people say they know a lot, what do you know? Do you know why we have weather changes? The government doesn't know. They don't talk about it. People in Congress have no clue what's happening. It's scary because right now, the things that are happening, nobody's talking about it. And I've been involved in the UFO world most of my life. And that's becoming a disaster, which I'll get into today. Alright. The speakers I'm talking about are in the UFO world, the spiritual world, claiming to be spiritual, the religious world. Alright. They're all making money off of innocent people desperately looking for truth. Well, sadly, they'll hold on to just about anything. Alright. It's not a good time right now for the world, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. But these poor people willing to spend their money to go to a conference, which usually costs anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 roughly. Hotel, airfare, car fare, gasoline, food, lodging, and the conference. So when somebody's got to pay those big name speakers good money to speak, They don't come for nothing. And if you know the price, you wouldn't believe it. I'd say about 70% of the money taken in goes to pay all the top speakers, and the middle class speakers get a little bit of money. All right, I lectured. I know what it is. I know how bad it got recently over the past 10 years. And if you think $2,000 is a lot, it's not when you get paid $15,000, $20,000. All right. Now, these people are looking for what? What are you looking for in life? A good time, good energy, good living. Well, guess what? Wrong time, wrong place. I mean, planet Earth's not that place. All right. We have to start somewhere. I've been on a spiritual quest all my life. I have dealt with just about every possible experience you could imagine. I cannot be abducted. I cannot be taken on a ship. All right? But I want you to call that abduction, people. It is not called the word that they made up and started using over the past 10 years, experiencer. And the difference between abduction and experiencer, the person that says they were abducted knows what happened, all right? Meaning some alien race took them on a ship and did stuff to them. An experiencer has no clue. They were in their room and they were talking to aliens and they were taking and showing all these things. It's always, or 99% of the time, a good experience. Meaning they were completely programmed. All right, I'm putting my life on the line for this statement. There's no such thing as good aliens. No such thing as good aliens. I don't care what speaker is out there telling you they're good and we should talk to them and we should work with them and all that. We need to eliminate our government and allow the aliens to control us. They already are. People, if you know the history, which most people don't know, don't want to know, or care to find out either. Science is never going to prove it or tell you the truth, because they're never going to find it. The second thing is, I'm speaking from all my past lives, going back to Atlantis. The only time planet Earth had a human race that was living in harmony in the Garden of Eden. Alien races did not like that. So what did they do? Destroy it and reprogram the people that were left. I'm not going to get into detail, but there were 9 races here. 5 races left, 4 stayed. Red, black, yellow, and white. All right, the races that are here now. And they're separate races, people. They all didn't come from Adam and Eve is a fake story. I mean, if you believe the Anunnaki story, which is another lie, you're in serious trouble. One person comes out and says he translated it, what it means about the Anunnaki, and people believe it. Now, I don't know if you believe in visions. I mean, let's do it this way. I'm not going to. This isn't going to be a religious talk, but Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 2 of them were Jesus' disciples. 2 of them were evangelists. Look up the definition of evangelist. 1 of them followed Peter, and 1 of them followed Paul. So 2 people that were actually with Jesus, and 2 people that weren't. Now, the evangelists copyrighted a lot of the things they said when they did their gospel for the Bible. So, but what I was trying to get at, Paul never met with Jesus. Oh, we got back music. Man, this computer's really screwing me today. All right, is that better? I hope. Sorry about that. Everything's going wrong on my computer today, and I already wrote the company twice. All right. Thanks for telling me I would have been on the whole show, because I don't hear it. I don't know why. I didn't hear it go on, so I didn't think it was on. So, all right. Now, for me to talk about this stuff, I'm talking from a lifetime of death experiences. I had 5. Learning how to travel out of my body. I spent 45 years doing that. I sat with many of the elders across the United States, listening to their stories. Stories, people. Like the Hindu people have great stories. Hinduism was the first religion on the planet, if you didn't know that. I mean, Muslims and everything else came later. Buddhism came out of when India sent people to Tibet, that's when Buddhism started. So I mean, these teachings came from different levels. Christianity was split. I mean, Catholic religion, the Protestant religion. I mean, then you have the Jehovah's Witness, Hare Krishna, and every other religion that came along as well. Then you got Melchizedek's teachings of a religion. All right, if you study, I study them all to see what makes them tick, not because they have the truth. I gave up looking for truth in religions because they cannot talk about it. And that's why I'm doing it again. I do this a lot, this topic anyway. All right. Now, I spent time leaving my body. I learned about death. I learned about what souls do when they die and what they don't do. They don't become angels. They don't become superpowered. They don't stay and protect over mankind or their family. They do not. If they leave this realm, go into the astral plane, and stay there, they're already on a new life and a new mission. If they're still working with people in this reality, which a lot of psychics talk to these beings, entities, demons, creatures, you name it, they're because they didn't get into the astral world. They didn't get to stay there. They probably didn't even get to go there. Because they have no religion. They have no truth. They have no understanding and no way to do it. Angels are there, and guides are there for everybody. If a person's ready to work with them or find them, because that's the only way you're going to learn about the inner worlds. You're not going to learn it here. You can't be shown something that doesn't exist in this reality. Dreams and fantasies and all those things come from the astral plane, most of it, when it's beyond supernatural, beyond normal, like when you start flying in your dream and things like that, because you can on the astral plane. All right, and you can travel in your astral body, and that's called astral projection. It's not complicated, and a lot of people don't get to do it. I mean, you could try. Sometimes your karma alone, and I hate to say this, blocks you from moving forward. Until you work off the karma, you're not going to take a giant step into the spiritual realm. I hate to tell you the truth, but that's all I can do. I can't lie to you like every other speaker out there. Now, I listened to every workshop Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle did. Oprah gave him the big start. She was the first person to do a 21-day workshop on the internet with Deepak Chopra. Oh, no, sorry, Eckhart Tolle. Then she worked with Deepak Chopra later. But again, I did all the courses. I listened to them. I put my remarks in there. They never cut me off. I'm surprised. Every site now is trying to cut me off, take my sites away. I lost LinkedIn. I lost YouTube for a month. They gave me one more warning. If I get another warning, I lose my show. People, just so you know, if you never hear from me again, go to my email. All right, I'm gonna put it up in there, just so you know. This is what you could get in touch with me and find where I'll be doing my shows. I'm not gonna stop doing my shows no matter what happens, unless I die. All right, but I'll be doing shows somewhere. I'm going to probably lose, if I lose YouTube, I'll lose all the shows I did on YouTube. But I'm a person that believes in the now. I have 5 books. Well, my 5th book's not published, but my 4 books are out there. But I believe in the moment, what I know now, because every year, every 10 years, my reality changes and grows. But not to planet Earth, to the inner worlds and to truth. So, and that's all I can talk about. I can't feed you these stories, which I'm going to get into, because you need to be aware of what's really happening. You go to a UFO conference, and a lot of the people that are speaking will say their experiences. They work with the good aliens. They work with the good aliens. You know, here's the thing. Make them prove something good that they did and show it. You know, I did a UFO conference. The one main speaker said he worked with the Nordics. And I said, really? I go, what did they ever do for you? Oh, he was in a car crash and he saved him. And I said, well, what else did they do for you? Oh, everything. I said, name something. He couldn't name one other thing. This is the main speaker at the UFO conference. I could talk about anything in the realm that I'm talking about: life, death, reincarnation, God, Jesus. All right, history of truth, not the history the of the Bible, the history of the Sumerian tablets. I did the Emerald tablets for 2 years. All right, and there's a lot to learn in that. All right, and it basically will teach you the understanding how we got here, and it wasn't the Enochs, or it wasn't the Anunnaki. All those words, they're great stories, but they're not really important. And none of that is important to you right now. All right, as I'm going through today, think about everything I'm saying, everything you hear, everything you want to hear, everything you do. Base it on today and tomorrow. Oh, don't look at the future. Live in the now. You gotta worry about the future. The future is where we're going. The now is right here, this second, and it could change every split second. So saying you're living in the moment, yeah, you always have to live in the moment, but you can plan for the future, and you should, because you're gonna die. Somebody in your family is gonna die. People around you are gonna die, and it's whether you want to be part of it and take care of them or help the situation. That's up to you. But living in the moment is what you're doing, but preparing for the future. You're not going to be living in it. You can't live in it unless you get into time travel. And very few souls have ever did that. I knew one of the few people that actually was a time traveler, and it came out of the Philadelphia experiment. All right, I don't want to get into that story because it's a whole nother story. The Emerald tablets were written by Philip, and it's not the thought that the Anunnaki talk about. He was a god. I call them little gods because they have the power over a certain world and dimension, meaning the lower realm, the physical world and the astral plane. So, but yeah, the teachings are incredible. And the other word that goes with the Emerald tablets is ascension. It gives you techniques and it gives you ideas and things to work with. I mean, you're going to hear lots of people in the UFO world and the spiritual world say they went to ascension. They did not go through ascension. Let me just see if I got a important message here. Hold on. I don't see it. I'll tell you what I'm doing in a second. Okay, Carrie Cassidy just texted me. She has somebody on there who works with the government, but he's a great storyteller, and they twist the truth. Which you'll find anybody out there speaking does that. All right, you're right. Karma is one thing, but basically, getting to the point to be aware is incredibly hard in this reality. And there's a lot of things you have to do to make that happen. But yeah, Carrie Cassidy just texted me right now. But she's had this person on, and I had debates with him. He tells you all this stuff. He worked with this with the government. He did that and that and that. But here's the thing, people. Nothing helps us. Nothing. All right. Now, I had 5 death experiences, and each one took me to a whole new level. Whether I wanted it or not, they always did, and they were always beneficial. All right. But when I sat with the elders and listened to the stories they told, again, they claimed they work with Bigfoot. They work with the star beings, which were the Greys. All right. They didn't help them. There was 50 million native people here from 400 years ago. There's less than 750,000 now. What kind of help did they get? How to die and get killed? I was there. I was aware of 2 of my lifetimes when I was native. I was at Wounded Knee, the most horrible event that the U.S. people did, called the white people. All right, I don't want to get into that. Our history is horrible. Man's history is horrible. The white race history is horrible. All they did was kill and fight. Why? Again, like I said, I'll do a show on that one day soon about Atlantis, because when Atlantis went down, the human race were programmed by the Anunnaki and the reptilians to kill, to sacrifice, to torture. And they made sure man didn't accept woman as anything important ever for 40,000 years, people. Do you understand that? Hold on. She doesn't know I'm doing a show. All right. Everybody's texting me right now. But again, I always, today's one of those days, everything's trying to stop me from doing a show. But we all deal with darkness, have it around us. It travels and it lives on this planet, so it's hard to live without it. But okay, when I was with these elders and listening to the stories about the white buffalo, I could tell you a whole story about the white buffalo. I saw it born and I saw it die. And I was in hospital when it died. I fell down on the ground and everything. When it died, I was on a journey of the waters. I was out of my body for a full day on a table, and I had people pouring water on me trying to get me back. I can go into those kind of stories, but it won't help you. It won't help the world. What I'm saying is, where your attention is should be anything that could help you survive, help your family survive, and if possible, help the world better. But that's not a normal, simple thing. But that's not your main goal. Yes, it's something to do while you're here. But learning while you're here, learning why you need to leave is the most important thing. All right. All right. And leaving is much more important than staying here. And I'm telling you that. That's the truth, the total, honest truth. I don't think anybody else on this planet will tell you that, because they don't know it. They think living's important. Family's important. How'd he get in here? All right. So let me get back to this point here. Now, I've been around the good, the bad, and the ugly in the UFO world. All right. The ones that I thought were good were never good. The ones that I thought were bad were okay. It depends how you look at people, but what do they have to offer you? A family is a great thing to have. You feel good, you have a life, you live a life, and then what? You die. Did you accomplish what you wanted to? You didn't even know why you came here, and you're going to die. And then you're attached to your family and you want to come back. So all those things make it almost impossible to leave this planet permanently, meaning going to the astral plane and then coming back. But again, people, there's many things you could do in this reality to help change that. And one is understanding what karma is. I watch people create it. I'm not going to go into stories in great detail, but I actually became a focus point for a deity. And I'll tell you its name. It was Shiva. Everywhere I went, people had to pay instant karma. When John Lennon wrote that song, he knew exactly what was happening. But basically, all my friends, wherever I went, family, wherever I went, their karma just the second I got there. I did a UFO thing with a person for 6 years. And we kind of split up and everything. But when I went to his house, all hell broke loose. And he blamed me. We had a top medicine man there, and he says, and he told him it's not my fault. I said, these people are dealing with their own karma. But here's the thing, people. We're living in hell. You can call it whatever you want. Hell means the only place you can actually experience pain, suffering, see it, feel it, create it. You can't do that on the astral plane. You can't do it on any of the realms above this. You can't. You can't kill people. This is the only place you can. And this is the only place people get killed, murdered, and tortured, and chopped up, and all those kind of things. It doesn't happen. When you become your astral body, you can't chop it up, you can't burn it, you can't destroy it. So here's the thing, people. While your attention's here, it's keeping you here. If you believe this is the highest and most important step and place, you're never going to leave. And you think you're going to make this place better. You can't make hell better. My good UFO person that I worked with 6 years said, oh, Jesus is going to come back in 2000. I'm going to repeat what he said, 2036, and destroy Lucifer. Well, funny, Lucifer doesn't come here. Lucifer doesn't dwell here. He's on the astral plane. All right, Satan dwells here. Satan's army dwells here. That's who Jesus met. He didn't meet Lucifer. So, Lucifer was the highest fallen angel, and he's still one of the highest angels on the astral plane. He's with Satnam and Jesus is God. Moses is God. All right, Jehovah. So, they're there. They're on the top of the astral plane. They make decisions who goes past them. But guess what? It's not like a questioning game, answering game, and things like that. It's what you vibrate at, and it's who and what you really are. But second to that, all right, what goes on here? What are people looking for? Money, fame, power. And the most important thing to most people is cheap thrills. There is a call-in number, but I got so much to get through. I don't want to talk about too many questions right now. Maybe at, near the end. Let me get through some of this stuff before I want to get into the reason why I'm doing the show. All right. Now, what controls what goes on here? God? Angels? Deities? Man? How about aliens? Basically, a lot of teachings come from ancient teachings, so guess what? Aliens created the foundation for what most people believe and accept. All right? But people from the past aren't around, are they? All the races have disappeared. And when people say the race, we came from this race and that race, and no, we didn't. We each came from a place, a different realm. Not a different realm, but a different world. All right. Now, when people use the word spiritual, religious, what's important about those words? Do you understand what they mean? Do people understand what they mean? Are they really important? To who? Religions fight with spiritualists, and spiritualists fight with religionists. They're supposedly dealing with the same reality, which they're not. And the problem with the reality of this world is there's too many gods or no God. All right. If you have no God, there's no responsibility. If you have a God, it's what you created, your idea of what that God is. And seriously, I don't know. I haven't met more than one person on this whole planet that could talk about God in any important way. You'll hear all the stories about what God isn't doing if they don't believe in God, or when they believe in the universe, and then God doesn't do this, God doesn't do that. If there was a real God, he wouldn't be sitting there. He doesn't sit there. He's not a human like the image. We're not created in its image. We're one cell of it, and that cell doesn't look like what God is. It never will be. All right. Seriously, most people look for happiness, but that comes from the 5 senses of the brain. And what do you know what the 5 senses are? Taste, smell, touch, hearing, and sight. Those things have nothing to do with God. Because when you leave this body, your brain stays here, people. It doesn't come along with you. Your heart's in this body and stays here and dies as well. So where are you going with that, people? Do you have a clue? All right, I dealt with so many people in the speaking realm, from the top to the bottom. All the important UFO people are gone. And I mean that, people. I've been trying to get in touch with Lou Elizondo. And I know he's afraid to talk to me. I guess he can't talk about the truth. I joined Richard Dolan's site just to be able to communicate and put stuff on his site. Everything he talks about is what he thinks. I don't deal with people that think what something is, because that's not beneficial to you, me, or anybody. To think what God is useless. To think what's going to happen is useless. If you know what's going to happen, I can tell you what's going to happen. The first thing you need to do, if you really care and worry about what's going to happen, check out UN Agenda 21-30. That's what's happening, and it will. Denver Airport started it many years ago. So it's one world order, basically, and eliminate half or 3/4 of the population. And that's happening. And the other thing, even Mr. Musk talks about it, is AI. artificial intelligence is going to destroy the world completely. Now, I'm going to give you a quick bit of information that probably nobody ever talked about. Or maybe they did. I'm sure it's coming out. Artificial intelligence is a real entity. It's not like a created computer idea. I mean, if you watch some of the movies about it and it comes alive and stuff, basically it is. I mean, they did an experiment, and I just saw this recently as well. You could take the most advanced computer on this world and tell it to create the future of our planet. And it'll create an alien city. It will not create anything vaguely close to what we're going to create in the next 100 years. All right. So it's creating something that it wasn't programmed to create. And it does. But that's only the small aspect of the beginning of what artificial intelligence is. Now, I mean, when they tell you cars are being driven, okay, and they said, well, Tesla only had 400 accidents. They said if people were driving, it would be 4,000 accidents. You know, they're going to make artificial intelligence sound important. Well, it is if you don't want a reality of a real world, if you don't want people walking around and doing things that a real robot or an entity can do outside of a human. But again, that's one thing people aren't really paying attention to. 50% of the cars are adding artificial intelligence into the cars. Not complete. I mean, it doesn't drive completely, but it'll stop by itself, it'll park itself. I mean, there's a lot of different things it will do. And eventually they will all do whatever the artificial intelligence wants to do, not what we want it to do. The second, artificial intelligence can fix things that are artificially made. Guess what? We're in serious trouble. So I'm not going to talk about Musk because he talks about that in detail. Pull up what he says. He contradicts himself a lot. Most people do, because they do not know what they're talking about, how real it is, the dangers of it. Now, the worst thing that happened to this planet, people, I'm going way off of what I want to talk about. The worst thing that happened to this planet was the Philadelphia experiment. I can go into that more than anybody else because I was where Tesla did his work with DuPont in New Jersey. What he wrote he worked with aliens. The reservoir in New Jersey, Wanacue Reservoir, was flooded. It was a city, and the government flooded it. For 9 months, UFOs went in and out of that, and they couldn't do a thing about it, even when it was frozen. But that's just one other story. But Tesla wasn't a genius. He was given information. He didn't go to school and learn how to build 200 inventions that didn't exist. He didn't create time travel in school. All right, he did a lot of things, but it was because he was given that. But besides that, when we talk about what's happening on this planet, I mean, the war and everything that's breaking out and the battle in our own country is ridiculous. All right, you can hide out wherever you want, but if we destroy the planet's food, water, air, any of those things, we're in trouble. I don't know, did that light hurt? Hold on, let me just check here. I don't think so. All right, just making sure. Because, let me just close the screen down. I'm sorry, today was one of those days. Okay. Now, the people that I mentioned, let's start with the UFO world, the most dangerous part of it all. Religions have been here. They kind of program people, but let me start with UFO world. The biggest name speakers in the UFO world, should I say them? Why not? Lou Elizondo is considered one of the top UFO speakers that says very little about anything. Then you got Stephen Greer, a person that thinks he created disclosure. All right? And the word disclosure, his definition of it is twisted, people. And how can I say that? The facts are, he said we need to learn to talk to aliens. We need to work with them. And he's teaching people, he's taking them out in the mountains and telling them do meditation and talk to aliens. He said, not me, all aliens are good. He said that, not me. He said the government offered him, and I'm not making this story up, people, pull up the site, listen to his stuff that he talks about, $2 billion to walk away from the UFO world. $2 billion. imagine he actually took the $2 billion, what he could do. He wouldn't have to put his name on the front page and say, I'm a UFO person. He'd just have 10 other people do whatever he wanted them to do. But his ego is so big, he has to do it his way. But nobody would offer a person $2 billion to shut up. Nobody. All the people, I know 15 people directly taken out in the UFO world. Were they offered money? No. Why pay $1 billion when you could take somebody out for $1 million or $100 or 1,000 or 10,000, whatever? You get people to do anything for a very low amount of money, which the government does. But again, I did a show with T.J. Morris. Her husband killed 139 people for the government. Now, Danny Brinkley, very famous person, the author of Conversation with, no, sorry, wrong person. All right. He said he was killed by lightning twice. All right. His book was a bestseller for 3 years. But I challenged him. I was at a live debate at lunch with him. Somebody paid $125 so I could have lunch with him. And after I said, well, can you say you ever met God? And he said, no, I'm a Luciferian. I'll be reincarnating many times to pay off my karma. But he said he killed 44 people for the government. These people got these numbers of people that they killed for the government. And you don't think they would take somebody like Stephen Greer out if he was really hurting what the government wants out there? Nobody says anything about aliens that they don't want them to say, period. Luozondo says, well, a Tic Tac could be this, or it could be that. Not that it's an alien chip and there's aliens on it and they do. No, nobody's coming out and saying that because they're not letting that out yet. All right, I do. They take me out any day they want. I know where I'm going, they don't. And they can't stop me from where I'm going. So, this is a reality of truth, which I bring out or try to bring out. I only ask people that want the truth or are willing to go a little bit further than what they perceive as their truth, because it's probably not even close to anything that's going to benefit them when they die. All right, because when people die, they go and think they're going to heaven and they're going to sit with their family. A make-believe story. I've been there. I've done it many times, people. And you can do it. You can find out where you go when you die and all those things if you start looking and trying. And you should, because you're going to die. And you're not going to be taking this body with you. Should I tell you about the ESA plan? No, I won't. But 2 things. You pick the age you are when you're there. And it's usually between 26 and 36. You don't have to be an old person. You don't have to be a baby. You don't start over. You're a person. You're a soul. You take on a body. That's all. But again, we're attached to this world, most people, and they can't let go of it. They're attached to family. But all the other little things, animals, water, games, sports, things like that, they're attached to as well. And they're willing to come back to be a better football player, better baseball player, a better skier, a better what? For what reason? Ego. Ego is what controls basically 90% of what you do and where your attention goes from there. So if your ego is too big, you're never going to get to any spiritual place because it's not going to let you. Because at that point, you'll let go of it. You can't bring ego into the higher realms. It doesn't fit, doesn't go, it doesn't vibrate the same. So here, what's wrong with reality? Everything on this planet. Earth's in serious conditions. There is no spiritual truth here. Now, when you go to let me just finish the UFO people before I go to them. All the UFO people I know are dead. Most of them are dead. Families are gone. One's in a nut house. 2 are in jail. My one friend just got out of jail, but he's dying. But he's surviving, the best I can say. All right. And he was the top in the UFO world and a top speaker and psychic starting at 1995 up until 2000-something, 20, because they arrested him, they put him in jail, put 150 charges against him, weren't real. He discovered Area 51, people. He brought people there to see the mothership come in. People don't talk about that. Oh, no, blah, 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 blah. You hear stories about it. All right. I'm going to let it go at that. Now, the other person that's in the nut house, pull him up, check him out. John Ford. He's in a nut house on Long Island. He's not going to get out, but he shot the best video of a UFO crash. I saw it. I was out where the ship crashed. People, the truth is out there, but you got to sift through all the garbage to get to it. The storytellers that are out there telling you the stories. In the UFO world, we got a lot of people. I'm not going to go into all the names because I'm really bad with names, but the ones that tell you all the aliens are good and they're working with them. And now I'll bring out another important name, Caroline Corey. She put 2 movies out. She just put one out last year. She just put another one out. She claims she can levitate a piece of paper. She claims she could change people's DNA. And her videos, her movies, are making it look like alien babies and drones and clones and all that kind of stuff is a good thing. All right, if you believe that, you got a problem. But if you do, watch her movies. She makes it all sound good. She gets people that say they had the child of an alien and all these things. I know women that lost their children and never got to see them again. It was taken out of them at 8.99 months. Sorry. And they got to see it once, and they said, you'll never see it again. So people, there's so much happening with that story of what happens in abduction, which the UFO world is removing, and they fill it with experiences. They don't want to talk about the bad things. They don't want to admit the bad things. They want you to believe aliens are good and they're going to come and help us. Help us what? Okay, let's start 40,000 years ago when they destroyed Atlantis. What did they do after that? Think about it. What benefits did they do or help mankind with? Building a spaceship's not a good thing. Building a Tesla car wasn't an important thing either. But what did they do? Taught us how to kill, eat animals, sacrifice, torture people, and we branded women as slaves. So yeah, that's what man did. After Atlantis was destroyed, when that didn't exist, none of those words existed, people. All right, if you go back to Atlantis, I know people, even Carrie Cassidy, she was there. She was in that time frame. She came into it right before it was destroyed. I left right before it was destroyed. So, so much went on there that was incredible. All the 32 psychic abilities, which you attain when you attain full ascension, and you don't get it until you attain ascension. And it's not ascending, meaning ascending into the astral plane. 2 different words. And UFO people, spiritual people, religious people have no clue what those words mean. Jesus was only one of the few people that I know that went through it. Only one that went through it. I mean, Buddha was not going through ascension. Moses did not go through ascension. All right. He had abilities. He was working at it. But he went against the laws. He went against the spiritual laws. He could never attain it. You can't kill people and move forward in this reality. You cannot. Sorry, people. I do everything I can to make sure that I don't intentionally kill somebody or let it happen, because that creates karma, and that word karma will keep you here. These people that said they kill 40, 50, 100 people? Really? Now, when you join the army, that's not okay to kill people under the spiritual laws. And people do. I fought a lot of the top spiritual elders that spoke about that. Oh, it's okay if you go to another country and kill people. Really? I go to another country and kill children and come back here and be happy and God loves me? Really? The perverted, twisted ideas man creates to protect himself, not to protect anything else. It's always their ego. And that's why we all go here. We all do this. No, it's not like that. You're here by yourself. You leave by yourself. And when you get to the highest level, it will just be you and God. So, you do all this searching and all these beliefs and all these ideas are taking you so far from the idea of who and what you really are. It's sad because, I dealt with this all my life. And people always thought I was crazy, but I don't care. I know the truth. Whether they want to hear it or not, it doesn't matter. If you find the truth, nobody can take it away from you. If you think you're important to God, think again. You wouldn't be in hell if you were important to God. God doesn't need demons or entities running around here to help itself. Of course not. The exoplanes are still not benefiting God. When you get to third, fourth, fifth worlds, you are. But it's different. You're different. You're not a male or female. You're not any of the things you perceive or know. So it's a totally different reality. But most people can't get past the exoplane, can't even deal with the exoplane, don't even know they have a silver cord, what it is there for. Well, I can travel anywhere I want. No, you can't. I had a medicine woman I studied with for 26 years. I used to debate her every once in a while about the silver cord. Oh, you can't cut it. Oh, you'll die. You'll be dead the second that gets cut. I said, no, you'll be able to leave the exoplane. But, people hold on to ideas. How do you get an idea? By a twisted program mind. The mind is creating this stuff while the soul, which you are, has its own mind inside you. If you can listen to it, you'll be way far above the game, and you won't have to play it, because then you're beyond ego, and you know the truth, and it's not like a game. But I give techniques how to work with soul, and it's something you need to learn. In any emergency, you need to know how to listen to soul over the mind, because there's two thoughts there, mind and soul, and you should always listen to soul when that happens. But again, how do you know which one's which? All right, people, there's a lot of things going on in our reality right now. The wars, the fighting, and things like that. Money situations, the whole thing about abortion, women losing more control. And they're going to try to take more and more people's rights. It's all part of the New World Order. Again, UN Agenda 21. Now, that will limit. That's why the virus is out. That's why all these things are happening at the same time. But what you need to do is start looking for truth yourself. What you believe is your truth, is your lie. But what you have, you need to work with it. Where did it get you? What's it doing for you? You think sticking around here is making it better? Going to help you? The first richest person on the planet, I call him Bazo, whatever, Bosco I call him, is paying these top scientists to create a drug to make people live forever. Imagine that. I can live forever and watch my family die, my kids die, and everybody I know die, and I'll still be here. Because who's going to be able to afford that pill? The pill for hepatitis C was $70,000. It's $1,000 a pill. Is every Joe Schmo going to run out and buy it? Of course not. Again, rich people only care about rich people, and I know people hate me saying that. I think that's why I lost my link site, because it's all basically rich people, and they're all business people. They're not into the poor man. The Constitution, people, was written by people that cared about rich people. So it's not beneficial to poor middle-class people, and they don't even understand that. Guns weren't here so we could have fun or go target practice and all those words. It was to kill Native people. People, you better look at history. Look at what we did. Now, the cowboy segment was not that long. Compared to all parts of history, the cowboy days didn't last that long. But everybody was going around shooting each other. It would have ended pretty much a lot of things if it didn't end. But guns weren't stopped then. And mankind thinks they have the right to carry a gun and kill somebody. All right, there's many weapons. The government has a weapon, a gun. They could shoot it at a city and paralyze the whole city for 24 hours without killing them. And they can't use it because it's considered a chemical weapon. But guess what? I mean, other countries are already using laser guns. They slash cars in half, slash people in half, and things like that. Do you hear about it? Do you see it? They can't talk about it because they know they're doing the same thing. And this whole UFO world is part of it, people. I don't talk about the government and the UFOs because they're doing what they have to do for the rich people. Nobody's talking about underground cities. Why? How much money goes into them? Denver Airport, do you even understand what that is? It's the home of the New World Order. And do people understand that? Oh, everybody wants to debate that. I said, I was there. I saw the steel flooring said U.S. New World Order in the flooring. When they had the murals on the wall showing 4 dead tribes, each the black tribe, the red, yellow tribe, and they showed that. on the walls, and they took them down. They left one mural up there, the one big one, with the guy with the mask and the tear gas gun and all that. But again, they moved those murals underground. Just you see, people look at what they see. They walked over that every day for 2 years and never even read it. They don't even know what they were walking on. They had a capstone in the center of the airport, all the president's pictures and everything else and stuff. Did people even understand why it was there? Did they even know why that horse is in front of the Denver airport? Why it has the eyes it does and things like that? Why it's blue with red eyes? I mean, everything in that airport has a meaning. Why it doesn't have a roof? Check it out, people. Behold the Pale Horse was written by William Cooper, but he's no longer around. He became a hardcore drunk, and I supposedly, whether he was killed or not, I can't say definite. I don't know that truth, but he's not around. So, people, the truth is there. All right, and when you deal with that, all right, you'll step further and further away from this reality. This reality is the Matrix. It will keep you in it. You can play in it as long as you want. If you like what you play with, that's your choice. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have. You can enjoy it, but the word attached to it is what destroys people. Now, these spiritual people. Let's talk about spiritual people. Does anybody know much about Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, the Pope, and Dalai Lama? Okay, I can't talk about the Dalai Lama in detail, and I won't. But he's in Canada. His one residence is in Canada. He can't go back to Tibet. Tibet was taken over by China. China destroyed 250 temples, killed thousands of lamas, put thousands of people in jail. And it is considered China now. It's not Tibet. And the Dalai Lama can't go there. He'll be killed. So, when we talk about religious people and they talk about Jesus and God, they don't know much about either. And when they say God loves us, God protects us, and all those words, and I mean, you can look at it from the people that don't believe in God and say, well, how does God protect you? All right, but the people that do, well, I could have this or that could have happened. Well, when your son dies, when your wife dies, when your husband dies, when you see half your family get killed, where's the protection? God doesn't have to protect your physical body, and it doesn't. Soul is eternal, not the body. And eternal doesn't mean a thing until you can understand all the things you already went through, meaning all your lifetimes. All right, and you had many. So when we talk about things, you need to find the truth about it, and you're not going to get it from spiritual speakers. They can only quote the Bible. The Muslims can only quote the Quran. Read it, people. Read what Muhammad did, who he talked to. Gabriel is an angel. Gabriel told him a whole bunch of things and he wrote it down. Read what those things are. Check it out. They contradict each other. I'm for the truth. If it had truth, I would agree with it, but it doesn't. When Native people said they work with the star beings, when people said they work with Gabriel, who told Muhammad Gabriel was Gabriel? His brother. How did his brother know who Gabriel was? So, listen to the stories, put the pieces that you can get together, and see where it goes. It's not going to go to God. Gabriel was never a god, or isn't a god. When you go to Hindu religions, the first religions on the planet, the deities were, I call them little gods, but there was thousands of deities. There's like 1,500 deities, but only about 5 of them were important gods, little gods to me, and they each dwell in a different realm. All right. All the other deities are like free workers here, but they each have their own truth. But if you go back to the Hindu days, what did those deities teach? They weren't teaching about God. Everything in the olden days, for a very long time, was sex. When aliens came here, it was still sex for aliens. People, do you want the truth? Do you want to listen to these stories about the good aliens that are helping us? What? What can an alien help you? Unless they come to your house and put 10 gold bricks on your doorstep and leave, they're not going to help you. They didn't help us. They never helped us. And they're not going to help us now. I'll tell you this. Aliens of one race wants planet Earth alive and healthy. Not the people on it. It needs the planet. They're playing with the shells, keeping them from cracking into each other, which they're ready to do because of what our government's doing. And they don't talk about that. But the facts are there, people. Directed energy weapons being used on us right now. We're using it. Find out what it means. Now, things you need to know. CERN, CERN. They actually created a black hole. Now, the story is, because these people say, they're scientists and they know, it's a microscopic thing. So it's not going to gobble up the planet. They don't know the truth about a black hole. All right? They're trying to prove that it exists. They're all ready to go through a black hole into the next dimension. And this person's saying, oh, it's a microscopic thing. It's going to take a blah, blah, blah. All right? It's not. It's much more dangerous. When they turn the when they turn CERN on, and this is a fact, people, the magnetic field it creates within inside itself is 4 times greater than the planet Earth is. So what do you think that does? What do you think it does to a solar system? And they talk about weather changes. If you want the facts, they're there. You got to look for them and find them. You want the facts about the virus? They're out there. You want the facts about anything? They're there. Go into government sites. They don't hide it. Go into a library. They have to tell you what weapons they're using and testing. Here in Hawaii, they do. They're testing bombs here. And people wonder what's happening. I was going to write a book on the dangers of being in Hawaii. But I know people in Hawaii would kill me right away. They stopped they stopped the telescope from being put here because why? Oh, it's on sacred land. No, it would have brought more people here. More money into Hawaii, which it needs desperately. We got the highest number in homeless people. We have the highest number in drug addicts. So figure that out. You don't hear about that either. People, where are you going? What are you doing? Who do you want to listen to? Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Dalai Lama, the Pope. Who do you want to listen to? Pope said Adam and Eve is a fake story. Pope said, okay, hell doesn't exist. Why? Because you're living in it. It does exist because you're in it. But he also wants to rewrite the 10 Commandments because they're not good enough for him. We're in problems. We have lots of problems in religion as well. Catholics and Protestants always hated each other. They were fighting for how long? Wars were always based with white people, just so you know. All right, tribal people weren't really fighting. They didn't kill each other. Most tribal people did not. And they'll say they did, and they'll say this and that. But go back. If you were aware of any of your past lives, how you lived and stuff, they fought. But it was stealing horses and things like that. All right. Let's see how long I've been going. All right. I don't want to do too long today. I was going to do this in 3 parts. I'll probably do another part to this. I'm sorry what happened. What can I do? They shut my show up. I just wanted to go on, and they shut it down. I called the company up. I don't know what they're going to do about it. They can't make it up. But trying to send the link out to everybody, the new link and everything else was ridiculous. But, I spent half of my life dancing, native dancing across the United States. I spent my life with native elders. And, everybody wants to talk about good things. It would be nice if there were good things happening. But there isn't. What spiritual thing was created in the past 40,000 years? More toys? More sex toys? What was created spiritually? All right. Now, I'll tell you this. There's a religion, and they call themselves the Whirling Dervishes. They created a dance which you go into and you learn how to leave your body. It's most people won't be able to do it. I can't even do it. I can get out of my body for a couple seconds, but then my body will fall down. So they got a way to spin around and dance for hours while they're out of their body. So it's the first that was one of the first techniques used to get out of the body that worked. But again, I can go into some really horrible stories. I've been there. I've been through the bad, and the worse, and the ugly. But I know, Bruce, you know Mr. John Edmond. I respected a person for 2 years. I helped him come out into the UFO world. And he's a very sick person. I mean, I'm sorry, he died. He died around Christmas. But again, these people make stories, and they believe it. He said he killed 18 Greys. All right, when I went out there, he said he killed one right before I came out there the day before. And he knocked the house off. I don't want to go into the stories. But when you see what people are, when people say they're spiritual, I never say that, people. Never. I never did. I'm on a spiritual quest, but I don't say I'm spiritual. When I am spiritual, I will not be here. There'll be no reason to be here. And one person used to say it to me 3-4 times a day. We talk for 2 hours. It'll say 3 times while we talk. I gave him techniques to work with. Oh, I did them. They're working. He lies. He lied about everything. And up until the end, how he lived hurt me so bad. And I was sorry that I spent so much time. I was going to do a movie and everything with this person. So, I wanted to trust people. But when you trust a person, you find out who they really are. Or you should find out who they really are. Because then you'll find out they're not the people that you should really trust, ever. All right? And the old saying, if you have one friend on this planet, you're lucky. All right? You're in love one time, you're lucky. All right? But see, even love is an abused word on this planet, which I do many lectures on now, because people think it's important. Most religions talk about how important it is. Aliens say we love each other. Do we? They don't even know what love means. So, people, I can talk because I was next to an alien, I was next to a ship, I was next to a Bigfoot, I was next to all those kind of things in my life. They're all real. I was doing exorcisms. That's real. And now, I want to get to, before I end the show, I want to just say this. You need to watch TV, people. Watch the History Channel. Watch the ghost shows, the alien shows, and the Bigfoot shows. Watch what's coming out. The videos they're releasing. Creatures and entities of all kinds are coming out. And that was because of the Philadelphia experiment. And CERN just did it. And they admitted that. They allowed something out that shouldn't have come out. When you open a doorway or a gateway or a vortex, you allow things to come in. The government cannot close the vortex that was opened by the Philadelphia experiment. They still can't. So there's more stuff coming in. If you watch these shows, you'll see weird-looking creatures coming out everywhere. I mean, some are coming out physically. Most of them are coming out in a second dimension. Not solid, but they're like you can film them and everything and see them. So, and ghosts and spirits are getting violent. And if you watch what's happening, people are getting hurt. People are getting killed. Houses are being set on fire. You name it's happening. I'm dealing with a woman right now. She just texted me before I did the show. She goes to a restaurant and they use a Ouija board to talk to an alien. And all these things fall out of the ceiling and different things that happen. But I said, where's anything important? Tell me what's important out of all this stuff. She does it every week and she puts the videos up. And I said, please tell me something good and what really is important. Well, a feather fell down, a diamond, a ring, a jewelry, stones, coins. I said, yeah, but what's important? Whatever you do, whatever you think you're doing in your spiritual quest, answer the question, is it really helping you? In what way? Get a better job? Become a better speaker? Get a better family? What is it helping you with? And then ask yourself, is it going to help you when you die? I mean, you're not going to live past 125 no matter what you do right now. So when you get close to 80, I'm going to be 70 in a couple months. To me, that like an age I never wanted to hear, never wanted to be. All right? So people, if you're 20, 30, 40, you got a lot of more years to do and do what you need to do to get where you need to be, to understand what you need to know. All right? So it's up to you, people. Do you want the truth? Do you want to listen to these speakers and what they're saying? Stephen Greer is bringing these people and talking to aliens and saying, oh, we need to eliminate the government and have aliens tell us what to do. They don't have feelings and emotions, and we're going to listen to what they tell us. Then we're going to have artificial intelligence, which he doesn't talk about much. They don't need him. The government doesn't need him. Nobody needs people if you got artificial intelligence doing everything for you. Aliens are doing what they need to do. The world is becoming radioactive, people. The show I do, the woman I have on there, is becoming radioactive. And we both bought a Geiger counter. I made her buy it. Her dog died of radiation poisoning in the bones months ago. But she was the highest level of radiation recently on our show. But there's a lot of radiation coming from the sun right now, and I think it's intensifying what she is radiated to. But we talked to everybody out there. She just went to all the people in Ancient Aliens and met with them, did a big conference out there in England. And they wouldn't mention abduction, period. It's like a taboo word. No, we're all experiences. We experience the good side. The good side of an alien is the lie. The truth is the bad side. What are they here for? Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody knows that. Yes, we do. One simple answer. What all life needs is only one thing. No matter what level of life, it only needs one thing. And let me show you this. Hold on. Let me do this. You might think this is funny. All right. Now, see that? It's a dinosaur creature. I'm growing him right now. I got him in my little tank. Somebody gave him to me last week. So, are they going to come out and control me? No, but they're swimming around in the bowl right now. They just hatched last night. People, we got a lot going on. Are you ready? Are you really ready for the truth? I know you're not. You might not want to be. But the thing is, you can be. You can be aware. You can learn what you need to learn. For me, it took a long time. I wanted one thing. I had a hard time. I came here for one reason, and we always come back for one main reason. One is your karma, but two is like when you eliminate your karma, why would you come back? I mean, people want Jesus to come back. Why would he? Why would it want to come back to this planet? All right. Hi, what's going on here? Something's going on. My computer now again. No, we can't stop the world from crashing and burning because it's burning right now. Everywhere, the fires are burning. Here, even in Hawaii, we got fires burning. People, and that's what helps destroy the ozone layer as well. But when they hit it with a directed energy weapon, guess what happens? Check it out. Pull up the information. There's a site, one person talks about the earthquakes every day, and I didn't even pull it up. Let me just tell you what's happening right this second. Anything really big? Oh, yes, there's let's see, 5.4 in Indonesia, 5.6 in Badar, Iran, 5.1 on the Atlantic Ridge. Where's this one? I mean, there's a bunch of earthquakes, but I just picked the ones that were over 5 because that's a little more dangerous than anything under it. But people, a couple years ago, there was no earthquakes over 4. Now there's over 5 every week. So guess what? The earth's shaking. Whether you want to look at it or not, or understand why you need to. And it's being created, people, not by natural elements. The Council of Nine, which exists, that control the lower realms, the things that happen in it, aren't playing that game. It's people. People, what we do. I'm gonna name them because nobody else knows what they are. Congress won't talk about them. Anybody else won't. Okay, let's start with the HAARP system, HAARP system. The first one built was in Alaska. All right. Then we got chemtrails. They're real, people. The person that actually came out with that years ago was in Hawaii. He was here, and I was taking pictures for him all the time. But basically, you could buy a kit and prove that it's real. All right. Now, we got a geothermal plant, and it's right near where I live. I can hear the sound of it. They say you can't. I talked to 1 out of 10 people can actually hear it, and you're not supposed to. And they said they don't put it on at nighttime, which they do. All right. Then we got the word fracking. All right, which is just as dangerous because what they're pouring inside the earth. All right. The actual fires that they're starting and playing with directed energy weapons is another serious problem, people. The other thing people that they don't want to talk about is rockets and ships going through the ozone while they're testing bombs and everything else. People, there are things that are changing the weather, changing the planet, changing the vibration of the planet itself. All right. And when they have an earthquake, all right, now here's the thing. Here in Hawaii, when I first came to Hawaii, one of my friends right away said, I take pictures of ships going in and out of the volcano. And he showed me them. He wanted me to do a movie on it. But the person in Mexico, whoever, what's his name, he sees it happening all the time himself. So this is all real, people. How you want to deal with it, understand it. You could hide from it, drink your life away, do drugs, and just stay in a box and not deal with it. But you can come out and face it, which is probably the hardest thing to do, is deal with what you need to do in this reality. Because you have to take your real attention and place it on something important like dying, God, and the truth. But it's not easy because you're attached and all the other things that make you feel good. You know, and I hate to say this, my life was hell all the way through. For the amount of good times I had doesn't even equal 1/10 of the rest of it. And most people take all the time that was the most beautiful, incredible time and add it together to the time you drink, smoke, go to the bathroom, go to work, and all those other things. How much time do you actually enjoy what you are as a soul in this body, in this world? Sure, you can go meditation, you can do some things, but hiding from it doesn't mean making it better. Knowing something's better. When I was in Atlantis, it was when you could understand peace, love, compassion, and all those words. And you weren't a thief, you weren't a stealer, a liar, you couldn't do those things, and you didn't. People, aliens are not here to help us. They've been here way before we came to this planet, and they'll be here way after. But the planet's not going to be here that long. If you listen to Corey Good, he said his aliens, I work with a blue race, he works with a blue race, but they're different. But his race said, we're going to destroy the planet. If you pull up the alien interrogation, it's real, people. Check it out. He says one man's going to destroy the planet. He wouldn't tell the government who it was, but they were torturing him and trying to make him say who it was. Check it out. It's online. It actually became available recently for a while. The whole alien interrogation. The one they put on TV was cut up. Whitney Schreiber was on there. Oh, they're hurting the aliens. They're hurting the aliens. But it was real. All right, people? And what the alien said is his level of awareness. We have people from Venus. It's their awareness. I debated there's 5 people that came from Venus that are known on this planet. I asked her, who was Jesus? And she said, our people believe. Their people believe. They don't even know. All right, so I'm just telling you, the truth's out there, but not everybody's going to get even close to it. And you need to, because if you find it, you'll understand why you're here and why you can leave. Leaving here is probably the most important thing you can do in your life, because you're dead and you let go of this body and you're in soul and you're in an eternal body with incredible abilities that this physical body does not have. People, I will be doing a show on spiritual truth in the next couple of days. I'm sorry I threw this one in, but every day I listen to these people talking and going on about what they're doing. Another multimillionaire. I brought him on my show. I didn't know him that good. I trusted what he was saying. What he's doing with millions of dollars, and this is in a couple of years, he's building a space station here on Earth for aliens to come to. Why do people think when they do something that aliens will come to them? Like when the government created a people to talk to aliens when they come here? What makes them think that the aliens want to talk to those people? They've been abducting people every day, everywhere on the planet. Greetings for the newcomer. Well, we have a problem going on, and we have. Hold on 1 second. Let me just Sorry about that. My little guy wanted to come back in here. Uh, you know, I've been in this. I met the good and bad and the ugly, and it seems like I get more of the ugly than the good because how many good people are there really? I'm a good person. Why? I don't. What don't you do that makes you a good person? Now, the question that I tell everybody: ask yourself, why are you spiritual? Never got a good answer yet. Never. Well, I send unconditional love to the world. That makes you a spiritual person? Does it really? Do you really help anything? Are you making anything beneficial? Hold on a second. Let me see. I'm going to put this up. Hold on. Let me just stick it in there. All right. Let me see if it went up on the chat room. I don't know if it did or not. We'll see. I'm putting stuff in the chat room. Okay. It just went up in the chat room. All right. People, like I said, I am very finicky about what I do on the show, who I allow to speak on it, and how much I trust what people are going to say on it. Because I'm trying to teach you something, and I don't care what anybody else says, thinks, or believes. I'm giving you the truth. If you don't like it, you don't need to be here. All right. Again, people, if you're coming in, I'm glad you are. If you want the truth, please, YouTube, go on there, friend me, and you'll get my links when I do a show. Because I'm going to be talking about spiritual things as well, not just people, because people are not very important in general. Is anybody spiritual on this planet? What are they doing? I don't want to go into my spiritual things that I'm learning right now, but I learned something really important. It had to do with Mary Magdalene. But again, people, this is about what aliens are doing for mankind, what they're doing against mankind, and what the word abduction means, and what it has the effects. Government cannot change that. They can't stop it either. It was initiated with Truman, and it was never taken away. I was friends with a member of MK12. He died. He was going to give us something incredible, honey, that could cure any disease on this planet. And he happened to die before we got it. All right. But again, if you watch X-Files, the original movie, it was all about bees and honey. I guess you kind of perceived that when you watched the movie, but it's based on truth, people. X-Files was always true stories. I know Carrie Cassidy was talking about this guy. He claims he wrote them all. He didn't write them. They're all real stories. They weren't man-made up stories. They were documents from a police file. The second one on X-Files was about the Jersey Bigfoot. So people, you can listen to people talk no matter what degree they have. Nassar Harriman claims he has the Ark of the Covenant. Drumville Melchizedek says he works with this crystal people inside the earth and he's going to bring them out to talk to people. But that was years ago. These people tell you great stories. The Galactic Confederation never did one thing they ever said was going to happen. People, the stories are great. The ideas are great. But reality is not even close to what's happening, what they push on you. All right? It's all lies. All right? I've been dealing with the UFO world since I was 6 years old. All right? Nothing good was ever there. I was doing past life regression. I was the first person to do it. Seriously. I know what's her name that just died said she created it so many years ago. And I said I was doing it when I was 17. All right. But then I started doing psychic implant removals. And then I went into other things like doing exorcisms. But people, all that's real. And that should make you really think about what's happening. Watch these shows on TV. Watch 2 weeks. Watch the History Channel. Watch these ghost shows and watch what creatures are coming out now. CERN released a couple recently. Are they going to say what and how, where, what? No, they're not, because they don't know. Entities, when they come in here, some are angry, some are evil. I mean, most of them are not friendly in any way. When you watch all these videos being filmed in the woods, in the jungle, everywhere, these creatures that are coming out aren't even close to anything that we are perception-wise. I was at a UFO conference. This person, I got his CD. He has all these artifacts that they're mining in Mexico. Hundreds and thousands of artifacts of ETs, creatures, statues of them, and the history of the alien race, and all this are being found in Mexico. And you don't hear much about it, do you? A friend of mine bought probably a small museum's worth, and they want that person to go on the mission with them to do more digging. They're pulling out things as far as 6-8 feet tall as well, of statues of aliens. And I mean, when you say thousands and thousands, it wasn't like somebody said, I'm going to make a great hoax and put all these things in the ground. People don't want the truth. Truth is, no race is here from ancient times. Why? All the giants are gone. Why? People, we can hide and lie and twist and change anything you want. But the truth is, there is a truth. And if you listen to these people, you're not going to get it. I haven't met one person. Please, I'll debate you, talk to you about God if you ever want to. Because it's not anything pertaining to what you think you know about it. The same as Jesus, what he came here for, what he was teaching. My last book, True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, was what Jesus was doing when he came here. I was a female. I was with Mary Magdalene. Yeah, that's why Mary Magdalene's thing was actually 2 days ago. But people, the United States never respected Mary Magdalene. France did. I didn't know that. Ghosts. I was dealing with ghosts when I was 6 years old. I was dealing with poltergeists when I was 6. I had a Ouija board, which my grandfather pulled out of the garbage and brought it in. And my grandmother and I played with it. But there's protection. You could use anything to call in demons. Same as you can use anything to call in angels. You don't need sage. You don't need this, that, or the other thing. And when somebody's possessed, calling on Jesus, if you don't know Jesus, it's like calling on Superman. Superman, get this guy out of his body. Why? Who? Who are you? Why? Why should I do anything for you? Who are you to say that I have to do something? People don't understand. What's the original Exorcist? That was a true story, but it was a guy, not a girl. And 2 priests died doing that because they weren't protected. And now aliens can actually possess a person. I have a friend that does that. He does about 300 exorcisms a year. I brought him on my show twice. He's one of the few people I trust, I agree with on a lot of things. But now what's happening, I really want to talk to him about it because the ghosts and spirits are getting angry and really doing bad things now, which didn't really happen as great as it's doing. I mean, almost all the time, every place where there's spirits and things happening, there's bad things happening. So, people, I hope you got something out of today. I do shows at least once a week on Tuesdays. I do a study of spiritual truth and try to teach stuff about that 1 day a week. But people, I just got my YouTube back. I'm trying to get organized. I thought I was going to lose it. And I was trying to find another place to do my shows and everything. So I'm going to start putting my stuff up on like TikTok, whatever. TikTok's alien ships. TikTok is a program. So people, the truth is out there. It's right in front of you. And it's probably in everything you read, everything you hear, but not in the way you hear it. That's why you have to go deeper inside yourself. Soul can understand things a lot greater than the mind can. Realize soul is eternal. It's been here such a long time. But guess what? It's still here. Because you're not letting it go. I mean, I'm talking about yourself. I mean, I'm trying to make it sound like it's something else. It is you. But this mind that gets put in your body, that controls it, like your battery in your car, is what controls your body. And you have to learn to go beyond that. And you can. All right. People, I put the site there. The number's there. My email is hawksblood1@aol.com. Text me. If you want to talk on Skype, Hawksblood11. I'd rather talk than type. But People, it's not getting better. Aliens are not going to help us. And if you think they are, watch the movie V. I always bring that up. The original TV series, not the original, the latest series on the V, the movie, about how these alien ships come around the planet and say they're going to help us, heal us, and make us better and all that. And watch what they're really doing. That's as close as to the truth you're going to get on this planet. But people, these people that do a lot of things, like the day the earth stood still would probably be the most important thing that a good alien would do. Not a bad alien, but a good alien. All right, now, the other one, when the aliens were walking up the Hudson River and everything, that was by H.G. Wells, and that was a bad thing. All right? So people, watch things. Try to pick out truth in anything you see, if you can, but don't stop. Don't stop. Don't ever stop searching and trying to get closer to the truth. And if you go to a UFO conference, try not to spend all that money. I don't even ask for money, and I'm going to give you 10 times more than you're going to get if you go to a UFO conference. You're going to hear great stories, but you know what? They're saying good aliens and that the government's evil. The government's doing what they have to do for rich people. Oh, guess who's coming in? Let's see if I can get him in real fast. Hold on. I'm trying to get closer to the truth. And can you hear me? You're on.
Oh, I was just testing this thing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I was just testing this thing. I didn't know.
Well, did you want to ask a question? You can say something if you want.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have typed it if I had one. Sorry.
Well, you don't have to say anything. No problem.
Hey, cool. I'm glad it worked. Anyway, sorry.
No problem. But the link works, just so you know. It's been a pleasure, people. I don't know what else to say today. It's been raining here every night. I haven't been able to film much outside at nighttime, and there's usually so much going on in Hawaii in the skies with ships and all kinds of weird stuff. But till next time, whatever you want in your life, don't stop until you get it. All right. It's there. The truth. Look for it. Till next time, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Enjoy your day, enjoy your night, wherever you are.